Hey there, it's Mike with Leverage and Services That Scale.com. In this office hours call, you're going to hear some really good conversation about how to really think through who your target customer is and then how to design your service to make sure that you're hitting that target customer's needs, okay? If you're selling agency services or any kind of services for that matter, it's so important to know who it is really clearly that you're selling to in order to make sure that you design price points, service benefits, service features, so that they're going to have an experience that makes them want to stick, right? Because if they don't stick, there's no point in selling them in the first place. They've got to stick around for a year plus in order for you to see good ROI from that customer. So lots of good conversation. Dive into it, enjoy it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments, anything that I can help with. And of course, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video with anybody that you think would get benefit from it. Okay, thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the video.
Mike, I really appreciated your rant, as you called it, yesterday afternoon. I mean, you were so right on target, and all the people who spoke up are probably everybody's dealing with those same issues.
Yeah.
Just a quick little update on what's going with me.
Yeah.
I've been in the electricity deregulation business for 20 years.
Yeah.
Where I consult with individual customers, sign them up for a discounted rate in electricity and save money. Well, I've been paring that down to where it's a reasonable number that it doesn't take a lot of my time. So now I'm ready to jump in, and so I'm wavering back and forth. I really like your San Diego model.
Yep.
But I also like all of the other things, and of course they fit in with that. All the other issues where you're dealing with an individual customer and providing services to them. So I'm just flip-flopping back and forth between those, and I have been for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
I'm at a point after yesterday. By the way, my wife was listening, and she said, "Well, he got your attention, didn't he?" I said, "Yes." I think everybody should listen to that. That was part of yesterday. That was really on target, probably for 90+% of the people that listen to you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
can you kind of give me some sort of look? See, by the way, I like the scavenger hunt, but I think that ties in with the media if you wanted to do that.
Very much so, yeah.
So, can you give me just some impressions as to kind of boost me along in that decision? Media are doing the, for lack of a better description, MSP model.
Yeah. I mean, they're two. Well, not that they couldn't be combined to some extent. They could be, for sure. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other. I think that, to me, we live in a content world today, and I think that if you are not making production of content, distribution of content a major part of what you're doing, regardless of which model you pursue as being your primary model. Hey, Bart, I think that you're making a big mistake. So I think that either way, you've got to plan on it and expect that you're going to have to be a media property in some way or another, and it's it's a matter of degrees, right? Because if you said I want to be the marketing growth system for restaurants, and that's kind of the front end of your business, we are a system for restaurants, then I still expect that if you're going to be successful in that business long term, you should have a very active blog.
you should have probably, YouTube videos or podcast or whatever it is going on. You should still be producing a lot of content. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for any business in today's world and going forward to have any sort of leadership position in a niche without being a very active producer of content. So in that particular case, though, you could be leading with we are a system as your front, and then the content is just kind of supporting that, right? Versus with more of the media model, you're leading with the content, and then whatever you sell on the back end, there's lots of options. You could sell just more traditional like advertising services, but you could also have an agency, style, division to that business. So let's say that I created my media in San Diego, really focused on restaurants, bars, and hospitality kind of events and things like that, hotels. It would be very easy for me to sell advertising, but then also to have like this systems division at my business where, hey, we also do this. We are the growth marketing systems for the hospitality industry. And our media property is just one of our ways of, demonstrating our expertise, connecting with the marketplace, making sure that we have the best way to help you reach the community through your marketing, so they go very nicely together. So I think that, hopefully one or the other will just kind of stand out and appeal to you as the way that you would prefer, to kind of go about things. My personal preference is absolutely the media business front end. And the reason for that is it gives me a much, much easier, more powerful foot in the door, if you will, with the whole community. There is zero question of my ability to get attention in the marketplace. And that just has a tremendous amount of benefits. From a sales perspective, it just makes things dramatically easier to go, hey, restaurant owner David, love to talk to you about your marketing. I'm a publisher of There San Diego, and maybe you're familiar with us. We have 40,000 Facebook fans tuning into what we do and 25,000 people on our newsletter. We create content every day about the city and the fun bars and restaurants and activities going on here. And it just makes it dramatically easier to have that conversation and that introduction and have them coming to me most of the time. Right now I have a backlog of events and comped restaurant invites and things like that I'm just, I won't get to all of them because I get so many of them. And those are restaurants inviting me in because they know that I can get them attention and get them firepower, right? I have the marketing firepower to get them more customers. So I personally, it's hard for me to imagine wanting to do it any other way. But I think if you do go that, more direct front end, and that's what it is. It's a more direct front end. If you just go out in the marketplace and say, we are the marketing systems provider for the restaurant industry, right? And you just come out and that's your front end, you've still got to be a content producer. I just think you've really still got to be an active content producer. Your content though is going to be different, right? It's got to be more educational, kind of training based content. It's got to be the focus of it. Versus, my content is about the city. It's about entertainment. My content is for the consumer, not for the restaurant. So it's just a different approach. I think that that's actually something really to consider too, David, and the difference between the models. Like, how comfortable are you going to be creating that educational based content versus creating content about the things going on in your city? Like, it's dramatically, I'm very comfortable with both. Obviously I have no problem creating educational content. But it's dramatically easier creating content about the city. You know, you're writing about somebody else, about something else, about something going on. It's super easy because you're kind of just bragging about cool things in your city, versus when you're creating educational content, you know, a lot of people have imposter syndrome, or, you know, just don't feel comfortable and confident doing it for whatever reason. And so they end up not getting it done. So I think, you know, being self-aware on that front is a good thing to, you know, just make sure you've kind of thought through. And then I would say the last thing, David, is you probably on the media front, although you can do it quite quickly, but I think you still have to plan on a little bit more of investment, both time-wise and probably financially, before you feel like, okay, it's got momentum. There's something there. You know, it's going to take a few months to kind of get that going, versus if you're just really directly selling, you know, your marketing systems and marketing services. You know, if you run a good ad today, you could get a good lead today, right? I mean, you know, certainly this week, if you run some good ads, you can get leads this week. So it can feel like, oh, okay, I can get things happening faster, versus the media property. You know, you got to build up that audience a bit. You got to commit to that, you know, plan on a few months of that, I would say, before you feel like that's getting some traction that's actually valuable to you. So just some things to consider. I hope that's helpful. You know, and ultimately there's some personal preference in there. I think both models are totally viable. So
Good. I appreciate that. While you were talking, I was thinking about yesterday afternoon, your rant. I think probably a better description of that. You've talked a lot about foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a foot in the rear.
That's exactly right. That's what it was meant to be. I'm glad that it came across loud and clear.
That's one of those services that you can offer every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. It is, you know, sometimes, you know, this is an interesting position to be in, because sometimes I'm thinking about you guys more as customers. Sometimes I'm thinking about you guys as, you know, as friends. I mean, gosh, I've known so many of the people in my community for a decade now or more, you know, and then sometimes I literally think about you guys almost like my employees, you know, even though you're buying stuff from me and paying me, but I think about, man, you know, Bart, if I had you sitting in my desk and you were responsible for driving revenue and you were in my office, you know, I'd be yelling at you like I did yesterday. I'd come into the office every day and I'd be like, Bart, show me your numbers, show me your calendar. You know, what have you gotten done? And so sometimes I feel that way about you guys, where it's like, you know, man, I want to manage you, you know.
The hardest thing about having your own business, and I've been self-employed 20 plus years, is just giving yourself time off and allowing time off.
Yeah.
Because having your own business, you're always thinking about it, no matter what. If you're out on a boat with the kids or whatever, it's, you know, you can't really shut that off, and you know, that's been tough for me. So
yeah. No, it's actually it's pretty wild. I was talking Bart about this to a couple of people, you know, close to me here recently, because this summer, that vacation that I took with my girls to Colorado, that's the first time in probably 15 years that I went on a vacation and I didn't think about work. I didn't open up my computer. And it wasn't like deliberate. I didn't go and be like, okay, Mike, you gotta not think about work, because I actually there's been almost no time in my career where I felt anxiety about having to think about work versus taking time off. Like for me personally, it's always just been blended together, and I'm fine with it. Like I enjoy it. But it was interesting to me because I was not deliberately thinking about it. But that trip, I had 5 days where it wasn't until like 9 o'clock the night before I came back that I was like, ooh, I probably need to, open up my laptop and, see what the heck's going on tomorrow, send an email or whatever. But it was awesome. And I was trying to think of, why that was, because it definitely was relaxing and recharging to me in a way that I realized afterwards. I was like, oh, that was a good thing. It may not be something that I feel like I crave, all the time, but it was a good thing, for sure. So yeah, no, it's true. Having some sort of, some sort of boundaries, at some point or another between this is when I'm working, this is when I'm playing, or, how those things blend together is a critical thing to figure out, I think, to survive as an entrepreneur. And obviously you've done some degree or another a good job of that if you've been doing it for 20 plus years. So
yeah, it's just, working from home versus I've had offices before, but when you're at home, and mostly it's been at home, the kids kind of think they're, open access to dad whenever and wherever,
Oh yeah.
and that's been a little tough, but they understand, when I shut my door or whatever, I've had times where I'd had to act like it's a studio and have a, a sign on here, green light and a red light or whatever. And but they, your dad, and it's like they really have an important question they got to ask. They just have to ask it,
Yeah.
So it's just,
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, my place, the layout of this place is a little bit unusual. It's an apartment. I mean, I live in a very nice apartment complex here in San Diego in this neighborhood. It's the only like kind of like luxury apartment complex in this community that I live in, because this is all, it's a very family oriented area. So it's primarily, the $1.7 million homes and stuff like that. And I moved in here a few years ago, and most of them are small. It's a cool San Diego luxury, with the pools and the hot tubs and all that type of stuff and the palm trees, which is all great, but it's small. And so when I moved into this unit just before Christmas this last year, because it came available and it was bigger. And I was like, I just need more space, I'll just take it. And so I didn't even see it. And I was just like, I'll take it. I moved in, and I'm so grateful because it has this office space area, which is great, but it's right at the entry of the apartment, which is kind of awkward. The layout of it is kind of awkward. It works really well in some ways because you come in the apartment, and here we are right here in this, and then you go a hallway, and then it opens up into the bedrooms and living room and all that stuff that way. And so there's a good 15 feet of kind of wall and hallway space in between me and the rest of the apartment where it starts. So my kids can be over there doing whatever they're doing. And it's really no problem. But anybody that wants to come in and out of the apartment while I'm working is coming in and out of the apartment right by me. So if I'm on
right off screen,
so it's funny sometimes if I were to turn my camera, you'd see my kids like doing this in the background, like trying to
yeah. I have to move mine around a little bit. It's like it's just funny stuff. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. We were talking with David about the restaurants and content marketing and everything. Have you ever done offline stuff where it made sense? I know you've talked about letters before, maybe you've done postcards, but I know around here, I'm in a resort area. Those are huge. Like there's special like restaurant magazines that are stacked up with coupons in them and stuff. Have you ever done that? Do you have a magazine for Hey There San Diego? Or
I don't. I've done all of those things though.
It just seems like a
big
job, big project.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I started at Everon, and literally within the first month, with no money at all, no two nickels to rub together, I was a big Dan Kennedy student, right? And so I literally started a print newsletter like month one that was 12 pages. And it was, it was almost like a newspaper style. It was like pretty big and kind of a newspapery style material. Gosh, I wish I still had some copies. And I would just mail that to 10,000 businesses in Boston every month. Every month I would create a new one and mail it out to 10,000 businesses. And it was just all articles. I mean, you know, this is pre-Facebook and all that jazz, right? So,
Yeah.
So I would write all the articles, just like, you know, I tell you guys to write the blog posts, and I would put into a newsletter and send it every month. And I've done all kinds of direct mail. I've done everything. I've done postcards. I've done bulk email. I've done everything. I think all of that is still a very good opportunity. In fact, maybe a better opportunity now than it's ever been, because I don't get any mail anymore. The only mail I get now is Amazon packages or very clearly junk mail. I don't get anything else. And so if somebody were to send me a good quality anything in the mail, it would be well received, you know. And every once in a while I get those companies that do, they send me some cool catalog or newsletter or something like that. And I'm like, oh wow, look at this, you know, mail. So it really stands out. And then I think, so like when you're talking about the magazine side of my business, I haven't done it yet. I don't know if I will do it. I've got to determine at some point or another. And I think it'll happen here pretty quickly. I'm going to determine what my growth plans are for their San Diego, and the whole their brand. But I do believe that there's a very good opportunity for me to do like a VIP magazine, a nice local VIP magazine that I then market only to my readers of my online property. So I'm not going to have this thing, you know, I'm not going to go through all the traditional distribution channels of a magazine, which are expensive and kind of a pain in the neck. I would offer it exclusively to my readers, and it'd be kind of a VIP thing. I think that is a cool, like kind of a loyalty
bonus
cool.
Or something.
You know, like yeah. If it's one thing to be able to connect with you digitally, but then if I've connected with you digitally and you go, yeah, this is cool stuff, but then I also connect with you physically, I think that there is a stronger connection there. You know, one of the things that I know I should be doing, and I'm considering kicking back up, I should be sending all of you guys a physical newsletter. I used to send a physical newsletter to my info customers, and I stopped doing that for a while because I lost the connection with direct mail. I thought for a period of time, oh, direct mail is not going to be anywhere near as effective, which is wrong. It's the opposite. So I consider rolling that back out because there is a different connection. If you get something in the mail from me and it's tangible and you're reading it. So
yeah, I used to get those Dan Kennedy ones and still get Perry Marshalls.
Yeah. It's great. It definitely creates a different connection. I have a competitor of theirs, San Diego, here in San Diego, that's their focus. They have an online presence too as well. It's great, but their focus is their magazine. And it's cool, and it creates different opportunities for them because they have that physical thing, and it's a glossy, beautiful magazine. It looks like a fashion magazine, you know, you just got a copy of Vanity Fair or Vogue or whatever it is. Like it's that high quality. So the major advertisers love that. They love, the hotel loves to be able to see their big glossy photography in a full page thing rather than, you know, a little digital blip in a newsletter that goes out. Right. So.
Yeah, I got this one big outfit that came in about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. I've had my local agency for like 12, 13 years. And a lot of my legacy clients have been slowly bleeding off. And now I'm more of a marketing service provider now. And I'm getting away from the agency bullshit, excuse my language. But, you know, they're like, hey, Bart, you know, I love your website, but, you know, this company is offering me a free website if I, you know, advertise in their paper magazine. You know, it's like, how can I beat free? You know, I
Yeah.
can't argue that it's not original and everybody else has a Me Too site. And the only thing different is going to be your logo and your name, but they're like, hey, it's free.
Yeah.
Because they're advertising too. So,
yep. Yeah.
it's
when you have that media, it's a compelling combination to be able to offer your customers, for sure.
I mean, you could have a Go High Level snapshot where, you know, this is a whole different thing, not what I'm focusing on, but you could have a, you know, some kind of website that's just like, you know, snapshot of whatever, and you could have a magazine kind of thing and sell spots on the magazine. You know, by the way, the website's for free, just like they're doing. You know, but you know, I don't know if you would compete with the big boys, but you could do a niche kind of thing or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Home services or something.
Yep, for sure. Let's see here. Dale says, are these calls recorded? Yes, absolutely. They're recorded and they're put up on the YouTube channel, Dale. And then, oh yeah, this is a Vibe digital whiteboard, Vibe, V-I-B-E. And it's awesome. I love this thing. I really, really do. It is very handy in all kinds of different ways. I use it all the time, both for calls like this, but also for my personal, you know, brainstorming and you know, coming up with ideas and stuff. And it is, it's not cheap, but it's much cheaper than the far majority of their competitors. So there's like the Google Jamboard and stuff like that, or some of the other competitors, that those are like twice the price or more. So I think that this one, you can get it on Amazon. You can just get on Amazon and search Vibe digital whiteboard. And I think it was $3,000. And then I bought that rolling stand because I have hardwood floors everywhere, so I can just roll this around. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's also a, you know, you can play Netflix and YouTube and all that type of stuff on it. And so I can roll it around the apartment and watch movies with the kids wherever we want to move it, you know, that type of thing. And so that stand was not cheap, but it's designed, you know, perfectly for the board. So I think, you know, total, I probably paid like around $4,000 or something like that, which is, like I said, that's not cheap. It's expensive, but it has been worth every penny for me. Absolutely. So
I'm glad you didn't say you play your video games on it. I know so many marketers that play video games, and I just like can't understand that. So.
No, but if you have a you know, if you have a need for something like this, I think it's awesome. It also it's got an app or you know, or a you know, you just access it on your browser. So everything that you're creating on there is automatically saved in your browser. So you can also get in on your browser and type on your browser, and then it's there. You know, folder structure, so you can share it with other people. I can actually, anything that I create on there, I can give you guys a link to be able to view it, even if you don't have a Vibe board, because you'll view it in your browser. And you can actually, I can even give you the ability to collaborate and edit on it, even if you don't have a Vibe board, because it's got features that work with the browser that would allow you to collaborate. So if you're doing anything like remote Teams wise and stuff like that, it's awesome. Integrates with Google Drive. You know, it's got a bunch of integrations. So you can, you know, you can just kind of easily incorporate it into your current way of managing things. It's super nice.
I remember David Sprague used to be into the Google glasses.
Oh yeah. he is such a techie, man. That guy loves his tech toys. Any cutting edge thing, he's on it. See, David says, after attending your 2013 sales conference in Denver, I started receiving your newsletter. It helps me dramatically increase my income over the next few years. That's awesome. That's cool, David. I love it. Thank you. Let's see here. What other questions? Welcome, Grant. Welcome, Neil. Good to see you guys here, gentlemen. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do, Mike. What's your preferred marketing channel right now?
YouTube. Yeah, if I have to pick one, I'd say YouTube. And I think that its advantages over Facebook are actually pretty darn night and day. There's obviously, it's got to be that video centric content, of course, but if you're comfortable creating video, you get such good combination of, you can do search traffic, you can do paid traffic, and then the big thing about it that I feel stupid that I have not completely capitalized on over the years is that it's an asset, right? On Facebook, you put stuff on Facebook and then it's just gone because their feed and their algorithm, versus YouTube, because it is a channel that people come to and scroll around through all your content and, and do this mass consumption, binge consumption of your content. It's a totally different asset. And then there are monetization features, which, I don't have a big enough account to take advantage of that yet, but those are incredible. I mean, the number of people who are making a living now just off of the advertising royalties from their YouTube channel is incredible. And I think that's only going to grow like crazy. I really do. Yeah. So that's my number one. I think where I'm missing the boat in particular, and probably just about all of us are, is TikTok. TikTok's one of those things that, I kind of wrote off as just it's the silly, thing that I'm not sure exactly how to translate that into a business tool. I could understand if I was doing something just really consumer focused, how it would be, it's easy to understand the value of it. But there's so many more businesses and B2B people now on there that are really doing well. They've figured out how to, do the quick little tip or whatever in a TikTok video. And next thing you know, they have 250,000 subscribers just because there's just so much traffic on TikTok right now. That, if you can get 250,000 of anything, you can turn that into some nice revenue. So.
Okay. You've been doing Facebook for quite a long time, I've gathered from what you've shared. What are your current thoughts on just expanding further on Facebook? Are you very bearish on it now with all the changes and as you said, the move away to YouTube? Where's your head at and experience right now with Facebook?
No, I'm not bearish on it. I just think it is important to be objective about like where it's at in its life cycle and which things you can take advantage of, right? So as an example, I think Facebook groups are awesome. So you see, I've got a bunch of Facebook groups, and the engagement in there and our ability to have conversation in there and all that stuff is awesome. So that's a really nice part of Facebook. And then paid ads on Facebook are still awesome. I mean, they're fantastic. There's absolutely no reason why I wouldn't have Facebook ads as a core part of any, marketing strategy. But I think organic engagement and organic growth on Facebook, I think is terrible. And so unless you're like really going to put the time and effort to manually, and that's what it is. It's a manual. When it comes to that organic stuff, it's like manual engagement, manual creation of, really particular messages and types of content and stuff like that to really make sure that you're responding and engaging and all that stuff to get that organic boost. Unless you're willing to do that, I just don't think that you should count on any organic benefit from Facebook at all. It's really just a paid advertising platform at this point.
Sure.
And you have no ownership of anything, which is one of those, I just learned that very painfully recently because, I changed my brand name to Services That Scale. Just trying to rename my page took weeks and was an absolute nightmare of a process because they wanted to know, why am I changing the name of my page? And they wanted all kinds of proof that, I was doing this for legitimate reasons and all that stuff. And I was just like, wow, You know, so you don't own anything on there. And their service is terrible. Their customer service is terrible. I know that they have recently ramped up investment in that, so hopefully it gets better. But Google's service, night and day difference from Facebook's. So much better. So YouTube, you know, and Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's working for you then on Facebook paid ads, Mike? If you're still a fan and advocate of Facebook paid,
Yeah.
What types of campaigns in general for your marketing are working for you with Facebook paid?
Yeah. And at the moment, it's kind of funny, I have to say, because literally nothing. I am not running a single paid ad on Facebook right now for the first time in I don't know, 10 years or whatever, because when I switched that brand name, I had to turn off all my ads. And so now I've got to fire everything back up, and I just haven't done it yet. But the two things in particular that I think of, actually, I should say three things. The three things in particular that I think of for Facebook ads that are all super, super effective. One is simply retargeting. So, you know, if you've got an audience and you want to stay in front of that audience, Facebook is a great way to do it. And then second is content boosting. So with There San Diego, the fastest way for me to grow There San Diego and get it all on fire again is to put 10 really compelling pieces of content out and then just give them all a very small budget every day and just boost them out into the community. I'll get a ton of traffic to my website very, very quickly, and I'll grow my list very quickly and all that. So that works for anything. I mean, the way that I grew Services at Scale is I wrote that one blog post you can see on the home side of the homepage of my website right now, and I just boosted that with very low budget to anybody in the digital agency world, and just let it run for 2 or 3 months. Never turned it off, never did a thing to it, never managed it, never touched it. Just let it go, and that generates the visibility and grows your list and gets your ideas, your power messaging out into your market very, very effectively. And then the last thing I would say is still just good old lead generation. I think you know, just lead generation. I used to use Facebook more to sell as well. So I would run ads that were, you know, hey, click here and go to the buy button and buy the thing, right? And that used to be very, very effective. It's harder to get ROI directly out of that now, unless you've got, you know, different price points and or just like a super compelling new exciting offer. But to get leads, so now you're on my email list, so now I can sell you via email and close the transactions that way. Super, super effective still. The cost per lead has definitely gone up, but it's still a great vehicle for doing that.
Do you think the whole iPhone debacle is having an effect on this, on the conversions? Because, you know, half of the people are going to opt out.
Yeah, but all they're opting out of is essentially just retargeting on their iPhone. Like, nah, I don't think so. I think that, I mean, I'm saying that, you know, kind of being, you know, a little bit cavalier about it.
Traffic is mobile.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is there an impact? Yes, there's absolutely some sort of impact, but for you and I and what we're doing, I don't think that you need to lose 1 second of sleep over it, or, you know, cut back on your advertising on Facebook because of it or anything like that. You know, if you were selling app downloads for games onto mobile phones, like if that was your business model, you're probably freaking out and like, whoa, like, how is this changing everything? Because that's your business model. Mm-hmm. That's not what we're doing, you know? So I'm not sweating it at all.
Mike, have you utilized over the years for other paid channels, Google Ads, Google Display Network, any of the Google paid properties?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, YouTube and Google Display are awesome. I mean, I used to do Google pay-per-click ads. I mean, I built Everon on Google pay-per-click ads just as much as anything. But that was a long time ago, and I stopped personally doing those when I started doing more of the information marketing businesses and stuff like that. I became more of a direct response, marketer, put out the content, put out the offers, and get people coming to you. So there's no good reason not to be all over Google pay-per-click in some way or another, at least at the bare minimum. That kind of bare minimum version of it is, making sure that you've got good ads for anybody searching directly for your brand or directly for your name or anything. I mean, everybody should be doing that. I'm not at the moment. And then Google Display, I think also for retargeting, I think there's no good reason not to be using Google Display for retargeting. I think it's a brilliant option for that. I think the best marketers that I see right now, they're flooding Google Display with retargeting ads because it's cheap, it's effective. You can show your brand everywhere, not just on YouTube, not just on Facebook, right? You can have your ads on every website that they visit, essentially. So you can really show up all over, that whole omnipresence idea. I think Google Display gives you the best option for that of anything out there, and certainly bang for the buck.
Okay, and for the right niche, how about LinkedIn? LinkedIn ads.
I love LinkedIn ads. I think B2B LinkedIn ads are fantastic. I love their ad platform. It's easy to use. It's effective. It's more expensive on a CPM basis, but it's been very comparable or even more affordable on a cost per result basis. And in certain niches, it's the only thing you do, right? I worked with a company out here for a couple of years here over the last few years on it's a SaaS platform, getting their growth going, and they can't reach their audience on Facebook, not directly. They can with retargeting, obviously, but they can't directly. There's no audience for them on Facebook that you can search and run ads to, really. But on LinkedIn, they can target them really, really well. So we would do our cold targeting on LinkedIn, retargeting on LinkedIn and Facebook. And it was very effective. So I think it's an awesome ad platform. And then I got to say again, I'm not doing it for lack of time and manpower, but advertising on TikTok, advertising on Snapchat. I mean, people are killing it on those platforms. Instagram, so I think the cool thing is we have so many advertising options in today's world. That's cool. It's also overwhelming. But I think that if you can carve out the time to dig in the slightly more niche opportunities for advertising, there's gold, because people don't have the time to dig into them, right? So as an example, you can run ads just on Instagram stories. I'd be willing to bet you can make a small fortune running ads just on Instagram stories right now, just because the volume of people doing it is dramatically less than the volume of people advertising on the main feed and the main Facebook feed and stuff like that. So you're going to have, just more of an opportunity to stand out. The inventory is probably much cheaper, and then similar, TikTok and Snapchat, stuff like that. I don't know with TikTok right now is so popular that I wouldn't be surprised if their ad rates are expensive. I haven't looked into it, but they're crushing it. So I don't know if you have any young kids that you're ever around. I mean, TikTok is all the youth of today's world, that's all they're paying attention to. And it's so funny because I get a little bit of that old man, like, oh, what are you doing on TikTok? It's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then my daughter will come over and show me one video. And the next thing I know, I've watched 36 videos. I'm like, oh, look at that. I mean, they are so good at drawing you in, and giving you the just very quick little dopamine burst, yeah, the monkey mind, exactly. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And would you say, to start out, apart from, I know you're teaching us lead magnets, say the R4 Shook, and other types, also a good place to start is it okay for just the stock standard Facebook lead ads, LinkedIn lead ads where appropriate, and so on?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. All those things work great. I'll give you a quick little ninja LinkedIn ad hack right now for everybody who's here. LinkedIn has little text ads that are display ads that are only pay per click. So you don't pay unless somebody clicks on them.
Okay.
And nobody uses them, and they're dirt cheap and effective as all get out. I mean, it is crazy how cheap of leads for my that SaaS software platform that I was working with. Unbelievable how cheap of leads we were getting from those little ads. So I just think nobody really values them because they just look, they're you can do very little with them. Tiny little image and like 2 little lines of text, but they're dirt cheap, and you can get a gazillion impressions for nothing. And out of those gazillion impressions, you're going to get some clicks. It's just,
I always heard LinkedIn was super expensive. So this is a different section. Or?
LinkedIn is super expensive for people that don't know what they're talking about. It's super expensive on a CPM basis because it should be. They have, if you're trying to target a CEO or a CMO at a Fortune or whatever company, it should be expensive, right? They have a premium audience. They should sell, that audience at a premium. But if you're comparing getting the attention of a chief marketing officer at a Fortune 1000 company doing that versus any other means, it's cheap. So the only people that would say it's expensive just either don't understand that your CPMs can be high, but your cost of response can still be low, right? I'll pay whatever you want me to pay on CPMs if my cost per response is low. I could care less, right? So the people who say it's expensive tend to be, the kind of rookie, they're Facebook advertisers, and they see
right.
Amazon, So
yeah, I've never looked into it. I just heard that, and I'm just like, thanks for reminding me. It's definitely something. If you're targeting in on a niche, it's just probably gold.
Totally. And I know a handful of guys on LinkedIn that are just absolutely killing it, doing content promotion of content.
So you can actually just put content up there without advertising, right? Just in your own channel, you can just put content, write a good article, put it up there.
Yeah, LinkedIn is, and I would actually say again for B2B, it is a far superior place to be doing content marketing than Facebook right now.
Yeah,
it is. It's a much better place to be doing it.
Over the years, Mike, which, regardless of the paid channels you've used, which lead magnets have you found most effective across the board, both personally and from what you've observed coaching?
So my simple list building system is giveaways. Giveaways are unbelievably effective and unbelievably easy. I can put up a landing page and an ad today and start generating leads so cheaply without having to put any real thought into it. No problem. In any market, it's just so stupid easy. So will those leads be as qualified as somebody who is, sorry guys, it's my daughter calling, as somebody that you are marketing to with a much more direct, clear value proposition for what your offer is, no, they will be less qualified. But you can get huge amounts of them, and depending on the niche and what the giveaway is and how you're positioning it, they can still be very, very positive ROI. So in my e-commerce business, I built my e-commerce business by giving away product. That is my product. So it was an essential oils business. So I would give away essential oils.
Right.
And I would use that to build my list of people that were interested in essential oils. And we blew that business to 7 figures like that by doing giveaways. And then as soon as you opt in for the giveaway, we make the offer. Right. So, and then on the, let's see, more of like their San Diego, I built their San Diego's audience the exact same way, giveaways of tickets to local events, gift cards to restaurants, all that stuff. And then in B2B, things like giving away, iPads, giving away swag. I mean, in the whole entrepreneurial world, people still just love, t-shirts and hats and things like that. I mean, Perry Belcher, if you know Perry Belcher, he just built a big audience recently by giving away those hats that just say CEO across them. He made hats that just say CEO, and he I don't know how many thousands of those he gave away in short order and built a big list. And there's always some opportunity to do giveaways. They're incredibly effective, and you'll get very, very low cost leads from it. And then on the more direct, like I'm looking for a very qualified lead who is buying into my proposition. Training is still great. I think you have to mess with the format of the training. So like webinars, people are burnt on webinars to a large extent. They still work, but that's why you see people doing more of like the little mini classes and things like that, or mini boot camps or whatever, because those work really, really well. They have higher engagement than the webinars. And then little tools, giveaways related to your offer. So if your offer is, we're Facebook advertising managers, right? Like we're the Facebook ads agency for restaurants, right? So then giving away something that's directly related to that they would find valuable. Here's our 7 best ad campaigns for restaurants, so you're giving that away. The people who are opting in are interested in, Facebook advertising for their restaurant, right? So those are just kind of at a summary level, I guess, the things that I think are easiest / most effective. Still get you the results that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Welcome. I see we got a bunch of new people that are joining on because you guys think the call started at 11, and I apologize. I had to move the start of the call to start at 10 because I have to run to my daughter's performance here. And so I will have to be wrapping this up in just about 15 minutes. So just FYI. So you new folks that just came on board, if you have something that you want to ask, please go ahead and do it. Yeah, Mark, go for it. Go high level questions. Absolutely. You're on mute, Mark.
Mute.
There you go.
Now I'm here.
Yep.
Okay. Quick question on packages on high level, the entry level. Let's say I'm looking at the hands-off type of package. So entry level might be all the two-way communications, Google My Business, Facebook Messenger, whatever, plus say reputation.
Yep.
So that's, I'm understanding it, and I'm 2 weeks into this. So I just joined, and you kind of threw a boatload, or let me have a boatload of info, because it's like
Yeah.
services that scale, MSPA and everything.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get my head around is how many different packages, because I know the packages you build are not client facing, and we're not trying to do, hey, $199, hey, $599, oh, $299 is in the middle but cheaper, and get that. We're trying to build maybe a get in the door, and whether you start at 97 or 197, now we're trying to move up, because I saw some videos online, people are selling something for 1,000 or 1,500, and I think they're hiring VAs to handhold the leads so they get to the appointment process. So I'm not trying to get anywhere near, except to understand, like, okay, now I realize, because Sean from High Level said, don't sell $97 and open up everything. That's a waste of your time. And I know from experience in other sales jobs, if people don't understand everything, they'll probably leave you at that cheaper level anyway, because they're just like, I have all this, why am I paying for it? So can you, or do you already have a training with different packages pre-built? And mostly I'm thinking of these hands-off type of packages. Like level 2 might be, okay, I add the CRM and the email package, which they can run themselves, but maybe at $5 or $6.97, hey, I'm going to build those email funnels for new clients, for prospects, for getting your clients that fell off to come back. So is there one of those trainings, or maybe you could do one with a couple slide shots so you can kind of play with that? And if we're not showing these, like, hey, come to my website and sign up, anytime I'm in front of a client, whether it's Zoom or whatever, and we're talking about this package or that, I could kind of pull them up on the fly, I'm guessing, in that sense of, like, if it's a chiropractor, it might only be a 197 and a 397. Whereas if it's a restaurant, it might be a 97 and a 297 type of thing. And I'm making up industries because I don't even have a niche yet. So does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. So I'll answer it as best as I can here to try and give you some direction. And the reason why I'm kind of caveating it like that is because, the very last thing that you just said there is actually the most important part in figuring all this out, which is who are you selling to, and what do they need, right? So that's got to be number one. And so and then the other thing that I would say on top of that is anybody making any statements of never do that, why would you do that? That's a waste. There are no nevers in business, right? I mean, there are businesses out there that they're $19. I mean, Zoom must be the most ridiculous value in the world. Every time I see my Zoom charge come in every month, I'm like, this is the single highest ROI thing ever. I spend $14 a month on Zoom. $14 a month, and I use it constantly to engage with my most important customers and prospects. And I spend $14 a month. Like, so
they haven't done an enterprise package to get more money out of you in that sense.
Well, they
right?
have. I just don't need it. But I mean, they're a bazillion-dollar company with bazillion-dollar margins, right? So my point just being that you got to make just try and rule out anybody's never do's and and always do's,
of course,
because those aren't real. So what I would say to you is, again, first of all, you've got to know who your market is and what do they need. Otherwise, you're putting together packages that are just, you're just pulling stuff out of your rear, right? So, but what I would say is that generally, if you were looking at it on a spectrum, this is one way to look at it, and there's several ways. But on this end of the spectrum is just a tool, and on this end is a system. So if you've heard my my lectures about tools versus systems.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So over here, a tool maybe it would be more around that $97 a month price point, and maybe the system is at $497 to $697 or whatever it is price point. Okay, and so in between there, maybe there is some 297 version that doesn't have, so maybe this is tool, basic, that's got like, these core 1 to 2 features turned on, like you were just describing.
Yep.
And then maybe this one is get, all the features of the tool, but it's still a tool. And then maybe this is all the features plus our, campaigns, plus our landing pages, plus our, whatever templates, yada, yada. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one approach. Now, the key to understand in this approach is that 2 out of 3 of your options are a tools buyer. So a tools buyer, you're saying, hey, sit down and use the tool. You're going to be actively using the tool to help you do whatever you're doing more effectively. So that's a totally different buyer than typically a systems buyer, where this is more of a, you're telling me that you can do a lot of those things for me, kind of thing, right?
Right.
You've solved a lot of that stuff for me. So, but in certain markets, that could be an excellent structure. Okay. Another version of all of that is, this is more what I did at Contenda, is it was all systems. But this was, system A, this is system B, and this was system A, B, and C. This is normally, 297. This is normally 297, but you get all of them here for 397. Whatever, something like that.
Right. Right.
So it's just, hey, Mark, Mr. Restaurant owner, you need social, you need some sort of follow-up SMS and birthday campaigns and loyalty campaigns and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can get either one of those from us or both and save some money. So in that case, though, again, a different buyer. I'm not expecting the restaurant to do anything themselves. I've created this system for them using my tools. It's very, very plug and play. I've got all my best practice templates and all that stuff in both of these. They're just different value propositions in terms of what they're achieving for them. Or you get both and you save some money. That's what I did more with Contenda.
Okay. And I kind of have this experience in my previous sales job that these small business owners were not, maybe half of them were tech comfortable, and, the others were not at all. So coming in at here's the communication platform, log in, and there it is. They don't have to do much and learn anything is kind of the deal. And then add on from there. If it was some kind of spa for nails or facials, whatever, then you could add on the CRM and the emails and stuff like that and as much as you don't want to overcomplicate it, could you click in between the 97 and 297 and say, well, you know what, you just need a little CRM, and why don't, for $100 more, the package would open up there? Or does it feel like nickel and diming them as you open it up 5 times and get them to 597 from 97?
Yeah, so I think that the most important answer to the questions that you're asking are knowing, again, who your customer is and where are they on this spectrum. Are they a tool buyer, a system buyer, or an agency buyer?
Okay.
And what I advocate to everybody is hopefully try and avoid these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's really, are you selling tools or systems? And is your customer a tools versus a systems buyer? Really knowing that and who you're targeting, because they are very, very different mindsets and very different levels, like you said, of comfort and ability to actually work within the tools. And so if you're selling to plumbers, Mark, right? And it's a dude running around on a truck with a old school Motorola flip phone that he still has from, 1989 or whatever. And, he's like, I don't know what all this web nonsense and TikToking is all about. And you set him down with high level. And this is by far the biggest mistake that people in the high level or community are making, is they're selling them the tool and going, this tool can do all these amazing things, Mark, Mr. Plumber. And then they sell them. And then Mark opens up high level and stares at it and goes, you know, what do I do with this? I mean, we have a hard time figuring out, and this is what our job
I'm
is.
staring at it now.
Yeah, exactly.
As
So
a newbie.
you think that the restaurant owner or the plumber is going to sit down and do that? There's no way. There's zero way. So I actually think in most cases, selling a tool is a big mistake.
Yep.
Unless you absolutely dumb it down. I actually do think that the one scenario that you described, the universal inbox, I actually think is a tool offer that you can make. And there's just a couple of others, but that are just simple enough, you know, that, yeah, I understand typing on the keyboard and messaging. Great. And I saw somebody's message come in and I'm going to answer their question and hit send. Like that, almost everybody can get that, right?
Yeah.
Very quickly. But really the opportunity in the marketplace right now for the far majority of people is systems. So, hey, Mr. Plumber or restaurant owner, you need a reactivation system at your business. You have a bunch of previous customers that you've done business with. You need to reactivate them. Does that make sense to you? Yes. You understand why that's low-hanging fruit? Yes. Awesome. We have developed the plumbing reactivation system, and we've developed everything. It's got all the campaigns, all the landing pages, all the messages, all the automation. You don't have to do a damn thing. You can, if you want to log in there and you want to see, you know, how it's working, all that stuff, you can, but you don't have to do a damn thing. All you got to do is send us this list, and we're going to be reactivating your customers every month. We're going to be making sure that a reactivation campaign goes out for all your customers, whatever. Right?
Okay. So again, we're using it as a tool now. We've created the system for them, and I just got to log in and say, okay, push send on the reactivation campaign. Oh, let's make sure that this funnel is working properly. Let's make sure that if the customer texts, it's going to go to that guy at his app or at his desktop. His wife is only the employee and she's working the desktop. So yeah. So Mr. Restaurant owner, you're now going to have a page up on your website that you didn't have before that says sign up for our VIP club. And that is a funnel that you've created, Mark, because you understand the restaurant industry. You've created for all your restaurant customers. You've posted it up on their site. So now when people go to their site, all they do is they put in their info. And when they put in their info, you've created a system that now automatically markets to all those customers on behalf of your restaurants. Your restaurants don't have to do a dang thing. It's a system that you set up and created. So the software is blurred out in this sense. We're hiding it behind the Wizard of Oz curtain.
Exactly.
And if someone gets too smart or they get savvy, you can open it up or show them like, hey, this is what else you can do if you're building it. But most people, in my experience, and it was credit card industry, a lot of small businesses, and they didn't even like to use the apps on their new credit card machine. So it was just like, I see what you're saying then. We're not even almost demoing this software to them. We're just saying, this is what it'll do. This is where it'll affect you. You've got to look at your phone if you get a text from someone that you fixed their pipes 2 years ago and now they need a new boiler.
Exactly. So what will happen, and this is my experience, is that what will happen is a lot of them will say, well, what are those campaigns that are going out the door say? You know, like if I'm just getting all these people opting in here and you're telling me, so what are those campaigns? So you've got to be able to answer that. You've got to be able to say, you got to say, oh, well, we actually have the 32-step, restaurant, reactivation system that we've developed. And it's a design set of campaigns. And absolutely, those campaigns are going to be tailored to your business. They're going to have your brand. They're going to have a message that makes sense. They're going to have an offer that makes sense. And so as part of our onboarding process, Mark, we're going to work with you to make sure that we understand what are the most appealing offers that you're comfortable putting out there on a regular basis to your customers. And we're going to bake those into the campaign so that you know exactly what's going out the door and what people are going to expect when they come in and say, hey, I just got this birthday offer from you on my phone. So we're going to work with you as part of that onboarding process, Mark. And maybe some of those customers, for whatever reason, want to get into the tool and see that themselves. But the far majority of them, they don't care. Just like you said before, like, okay, I see the campaigns that are going out the door. You tell me they're going out the door. Perfect. I subscribed. I went to my landing page and subscribed, and I got them. Yeah, they look good or they don't look good. Can you change this for me? And but that's,
and we're not giving away the store for them, but you could also create a new, and again, I don't know if I'll work with restaurants. I kind of tired of them, but the new customer special, which if you're driving it by email, the existing customers might not see that this guy's getting a free chicken dinner for the first time, and come back a second time and we'll give you a free dessert or whatever, and kind of create that ongoing funnel for the new clients, create ongoing funnel for existing, and say, this is what we've done, because
exactly,
again,
you've created a system. You are the experts in their industry. You've created a proven system for them. They don't have to sit down and go, oh, there's a bunch of tools that I could create these campaigns in. Now they're all, I mean, the plumber's going to be sitting there and going, well, what do you mean create campaigns? Like what campaigns? Oh, so you should put together a special offer okay, I'm a plumber. I'm not a marketer.
I don't know. When am I doing this?
Yeah, what am I doing? Right?
9 p.m.
The restaurant owner that just got done cleaning the dishes at 1 a.m. doesn't want to sit down and go, oh yeah, let me conceptualize some reactivation campaigns like Mark told me to. He told me this tool. So
that's great, because I did see, like, they never would use, if you're familiar with Clover, they're little white credit card swipers and they have a touch screen. They would add email capture and SMS capture. And I'm like, hey, when the customer puts in the card, they're happy with you, get their text or email and say, hey, we'll send you another coupon. And it just, nobody did anything. Yeah. And then, so I see what you're saying. If someone else comes along with Go High Level and they say, oh, I can do the same thing, look at this, they're going to sell the tool, which is the wrong thing. And if someone just,
it's a giant mistake. It's a giant mistake. And look, there are huge amounts of tools buyers out there. I'm a tool buyer. You're a tool buyer. You're buying all kinds of tools that you're using because you're marketers. And so you can make use of those tools. There's a massive opportunity to sell tools to tools buyers out there. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they don't exist and they're not big. I'm saying that High Level is not anywhere nearly refined enough for even a normal tools user to sit down and go, oh yeah, I'm just going to hop into High Level and start using this as a tool. I mean,
so even if we locked them out of everything else and sold the email and communication, two-way texting, it might still fall under a tool that you could get for $50 from combining a couple other tools.
Yes, you can do it, but realize that you're selling against a bazillion other people now that can sell the exact same tool. So you are just commoditized from day one. So you've got to figure out a different angle. So as an example, I'm partnered up with Billy Jean. We've sold thousands. We have thousands of users of Go High Level on our SaaS program now. We have thousands of them. We've sold tools to them. We set up a bunch of campaign templates and stuff like that in there, but we're still selling the tool. We're not selling a system. But that's because he has a massive list. And so we can go out there early in a very non-commoditized way, because it's Billy Jean and his big personality, and sell the tool in a simplified version. We've locked it down to thousands of people in one shot. And so we did that. But that's unusual. If you don't have a list of thousands and thousands of loyal fans that are willing to, go through the experience of trying to figure out how to learn the tool, forget about it. Forget about it. You're selling a commoditized thing that everybody else can be selling that is hard to get to use. Right?
Would the tool part, and I'll end it here to let other people speak, but would the tool part, say the communication and the reputation piece, be either a foot in the door, in that sense, as we talk about our system, and they didn't want the system, well, why don't you try it from this level and then I can show you the next
level. Only if it's a buyer that's capable of taking advantage of it. Otherwise, you're just selling a terrible experience. Your foot in the door is going to be a bad experience. You don't want that.
Okay.
So, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, because I know this is going to be a surprise to a lot of you, but I got to go. I started this an hour early. I sent out messages and did an announcement saying I had to start this an hour early. I apologize. I know a lot of people didn't see that, so they showed up here at 11. But I have to go to my kid's performance, and I can't be late, or else I will break her heart. And you know how that goes. So I apologize.
Sorry, I hugged the
And,
conversation.
yeah, we will have another office hours here soon, as we do. They're always scheduled. Jim, I see your message. I will absolutely take care of that today. And
Send you an
everybody have a
email.
great rest of your Friday. And I will see you on the next office hours call and in the Facebook groups until then. All right, take care, everybody. We'll talk.
Have a great weekend.